the best scorer and a strong candidate for the 2024-25 NBA MVP. These are all the things that describe Shai Gilgeous Alexander.
SGA once again. What a move. SGA. Corner left, Shai rises, fires, it's online, in there!
A few years ago, no one could have seen this coming, but he has elevated himself to being a lethal scorer, and in the process has propelled the Oklahoma City Thunder to being the top-ranked team in the NBA, leaving the Clippers and Hornets franchises wondering what might have been. Today, we are going to cover the insane rise of quite possibly the future face of the league.
Shai, quickly, mid-head. Slam down as Shai elevates to the...
On July 12, 1998, Shai Gilgeous Alexander was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to Charmaine Gilgeous and Vaughn Alexander. For soccer fans, this was the date that France won its first World Cup with a 3-0 victory over Brazil. It was also just 2 days before Michael Jordan made his famous jump shot on Brian Russell and the Utah Jazz to win his 6th NBA championship.
Chicago with the lead!
On this day, nobody knew, but a future NBA star had just come into the world right before the greatest player of all time would make his most famous basket. Shai came from a family of athletes, with his mom being a former track athlete who competed in the women's 400-meter for Antigua and Barbuda in the 1992 Summer Olympics. Along with this, his dad excelled in basketball during high school, winning a Toronto City championship during his time at Georges Vanier Secondary School. Growing up, Shai quickly fell in love with the game of basketball, and Vaughn coached him throughout almost the entirety of his youth. Gilgeous Alexander began his high school career at Catholic Secondary School before transferring to Sir Allan McNabb Secondary School. However, in his junior year, he transferred once again, this time to Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he spent the remainder of his high school career. He showed out in his senior year, averaging 18.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Despite not even playing a single minute of college basketball, Shai already had the eyes of NBA scouts on him, and he was invited to participate in the Basketball Without Borders camp, a camp that takes place during All-Star Weekend that allows the top international prospects around the world to showcase their talents in front of scouts of all 30 NBA teams.
In the right place, getting my teammates involved, and just being myself and doing what I do. My biggest thing is playmaking and getting my teammates involved and making sure they're happy.
College recruiting. Unsurprisingly, with the league already keeping tabs on Shai, it should come as no surprise that some of the top college programs in the country were foaming at the mouth to add him to their roster. ESPN ranked him as the 35th best player in the 2017 class, which earned him a 4-star ranking. He received offers from elite programs like Florida, Kentucky, Syracuse, and Texas. On November 14, 2016, Gilgeous Alexander made the decision to take his talents to Kentucky to become a Wildcat. With the elite track record that the school has had in producing guards that excelled at the next level, it makes perfect sense why Shai made this decision.
We have freak athletes and guys that are really long and stuff like that, and it makes it challenging to get where you want to go and navigate and right down the court, but at the end of the day, it makes us better and it helps us for the next level, so it's why I came here.
Heading into Gilgeous Alexander's freshman season at Kentucky, he had a very talented team around him. While this would seem like a powerhouse on paper, it made things very difficult to earn time on the floor, and Shai had to work extra hard during the offseason to establish himself as a core piece of the starting lineup.
Alexander finishes with the right hand. For the team. Into the game is Nick Perkins. He is the 6th man of the year in the MAC. Looking up top and a throwdown.
This Wildcat roster was made up of 7 future NBA players, including Gilgeous Alexander. Those other players being Kevin Knox, PJ Washington, Hamidou Diallo, Wenyen Gabriel, Nick Richards, and Jared Vanderbilt. It took Shai some time to carve out a role for himself in the lineup. While he was playing at a very high level, that is not always enough to be a full-time starter at Kentucky. Look at Devin Booker. He didn't start in a single game during his time as a Wildcat and still wound up being the 13th overall pick in the 2015 NBA Draft.
With the 13th pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Devin Booker from the University of Kentucky.
Shai was able to earn more playing time than this, starting in 24 of the 37 games he played in. He proved himself to be a very well-rounded guard who got it done on both sides of the ball, averaging 14.4 points, 4.1 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 1.6 steals, while shooting 48.5% from the field, 40.4% from three, and 81.7% from the free throw line. This earned him a spot on the All-SEC team and the All-Freshman team. In the SEC tournament, he set himself apart from the competition, going on an elite 3-game tear where he averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, 6.7 assists, and 1.7 steals a game, while shooting an insane 55.3% from the field, 40% from three, and 81% from the charity stripe. This not only earned him a spot on the All-SEC tournament team, but he was also named the tournament's MVP.
The recognition today of the All-SEC honor.
It's an honor. It's good to know that you get recognized amongst a lot of good talent in this conference.
He kept up this pace in the NCAA tournament, averaging 20.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2.3 steals, while nearly having shooting splits of 50, 40, 90. However, basketball can be cruel, especially in a deep run in the NCAA tournament. He had an off game in the Sweet 16 matchup against Kansas State, only making 2 shots on 10 attempts from the field. While the Wildcats were still able to keep up without the production they were used to from Shai, they could not take the game and fell by a final score of 61-58. Despite his collegiate career ending on a bit of a sour note, Shai still had a very bright future in front of him with the draft right around the corner. His elite level of play in the SEC and NCAA tournaments had done wonders for his draft stock, and scouts could not get enough of Gilgeous Alexander leading up to the draft. They were very high on his height and length, standing at 6 feet 6 inches with a 7-foot wingspan. Along with this, he possessed extreme athleticism, including a 36-inch vertical. He was a threat on both sides of the ball, able to take the game over on offense or defense, making him a true two-way threat as a point guard. There were very few negatives that scouts could find in his game. Many were a bit hesitant about his slight frame, with Shai weighing only 180 pounds coming into the league. But a rookie starting off their career a bit underweight is nothing new, and more times than not, they're able to put on some muscle after a couple of years in the league. Along with this, some were put off by his tendency to turn the ball over in late game situations and being a bit too willing to pass the ball at times. While no one believed that Gilgeous Alexander had a chance of being one of the top picks in the 2018 draft, there was almost no doubt that he would be selected in the lottery.
NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Shai Gilgeous Alexander from Hamilton, Canada, and the University of Kentucky.
This wound up being exactly how it played out, with the Charlotte Hornets selecting him with the 11th overall pick. However, his time with the Hornets was very short-lived, and they would go on to make a deal that is still haunting the franchise to this day. The Los Angeles Clippers promptly selected Miles Bridges with the next pick and traded him along with 2 second-round picks to Charlotte for Gilgeous Alexander. This was a very solid landing spot for Shai, with the Clippers being a playoff-caliber team that was missing a star point guard. While they had defensive specialist Patrick Beverley on the roster, he was not a starting point guard caliber player. It did not take Shai long to take over the starting spot, with him starting in 73 of the 82 games that he played in during his rookie season.
Ralph, I knew it was going to go in. Bradley Beal.
Like any rookie guard, it took some time for him to truly adjust to the game at the next level.
Gilgeous Alexander's in double figures. 8-point lead for Philadelphia. Beautiful move to the goal and the finish and the foul.
And there were some expected growing pains. Despite this, he still had a very solid season, ending the regular season with 10.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.2 steals, while shooting 47.6% from the field, 36.7% from three, and 80% from the line. The Clippers were able to sneak into the postseason as the 8th seed in the Western Conference. And while this was quite the accomplishment, they ran into a buzzsaw of a Golden State Warriors team in the first round that featured a starting 5 of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins. Despite being drastically outmatched in this series, the Clippers were able to make things interesting, pushing the series to 6 games before they were eliminated.
Nicely and scores. Good setup by Shai Gilgeous Alexander.
And Shai Gilgeous Alexander, he's going to always feed the big man.
I guess you'd rather have him shoot from there than from the paint.
I agree. You take 25-foot shots instead of DeMarcus Cousins being...
Shai held his own, averaging 13.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 3.2 assists on very efficient shooting splits.
75-76 again.
After a very promising rookie season, Shai was a part of another franchise-altering trade. This blockbuster deal sent him Danilo Gallinari, 5 first-round picks and 2 first-round pick swaps to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Paul George. At the time, this appeared to be a trade that set the Clippers up to be a contender for years to come, pairing George with Kawhi Leonard to form a very dangerous duo. However, hindsight is 20/20, and looking back, this was the deal that cemented the Thunder as a potential dynasty and revealed how lopsided this trade turned out to be.
Bad news for the Clippers. Paul George has suffered a sprained right knee. You saw him last night not able to put any weight on that right leg as he left the court. He will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. Not that he will return in 2 to 3 weeks. He will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks.
Establishing himself as one of the best in the league with the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the 2019-20 season, the Thunder were a rebuilding team, and this left a wide open spot for Shai to continue to develop his game.
Oh, what a nifty move. Found enough space as he chisels his way to the rim. Can we say hang time?
The team featured few veterans on the roster, however, and one of them was Chris Paul. Having Paul as a member this season is something that gets overlooked when considering the insane rise of Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Having one of the best basketball minds of all time and top point guards to ever touch the court is priceless for a young guard, especially with one that possessed as much potential as Shai. He took a big jump this season, averaging 19 points, 5.9 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.1 steals a game. He was able to play a huge role in the Thunder, making the postseason, taking on the Houston Rockets in the first round. This was another hard-fought series, going to 7 games. However, Oklahoma City came just short, losing Game 7 by just 1 score, falling by a final score of 104 to 102. This was a roller coaster of a series for Shai, but he was still able to average 16.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and a steal a game, while shooting 40% from deep.
Boy, that would have been real close on Harden.
SGA took another huge step in the 2020-21 season, averaging 23.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 5.9 assists with elite shooting splits.
Maladone camped out of the corner. The catch fire 3 is good. Off the assist, he does. Clarkson lost it momentarily. It's loose. Maladone then took it away and starts the break for the Thunder. SGA scoops it up to the yellow.
However, this momentum came to a screeching halt, with Shai going down with a torn plantar fascia. This put a premature end to his season, with him only able to take the court in 35 games. The following season, it was clear that there were still some lingering setbacks from the injury, and it was taking Shai some time to fully bounce back. While he was averaging 24.5 points a night, he was playing the least efficient basketball of his entire NBA career, shooting 45.3% from the field and 30% from 3. However, he had another season that was riddled with injuries, only able to see the court in 56 games. The 2022-23 season was when Gilgeous Alexander truly began to come into his own and become a star.
Away, baseline shot. Shai puts it in and walks it off in OKC.
He not only made the first All-Star appearance of his career, but was also named to the All-NBA First Team, averaging 31.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.6 steals, and a block a night, while shooting an elite 51% from the field. It was clear that Shai was developing into something special, and he put the league on notice this season. He finished 5th in the MVP voting, but the Thunder were unable to make the postseason. He kept his foot on the gas the next season, and the young core of the Thunder were able to give Shai the supporting cast he needed to lead the team to being the top seed in the Western Conference. He carried the team's offense, averaging 30.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and 2 steals a game. He made a return to the All-Star game and All-NBA First Team. Along with this, he came close to winning his first MVP, coming in second to Nikola Jokic. The Thunder earned the top seed in the West, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round. They made quick work of them, taking the series in a 4-game sweep. In the second round, they took on a red-hot Dallas Mavericks team. It appeared early on in Game 1 that this was going to be another easy win for Oklahoma City. However, the Mavericks pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the playoffs in the 2023-24 season and sent the Thunder home in 6 games.
And the Dallas Mavericks, for the second time in 3 years, are going to the Western Conference Finals.
Shai had an elite run through the playoffs, averaging 30.2 points, 7.2 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, with very efficient shooting splits. The 2024-25 season marked Shai's best season yet. He has established himself as the best scorer that the NBA has to offer, averaging a league-leading and career-high 32.8 points per game. Along with this, he has continued to do a little bit of everything for the Thunder, also averaging 5.1 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1.7 steals, and a block a game.
Gilgeous Alexander hangs, gets the run!
It's almost guaranteed at this point that he'll be taking home the MVP award this season, and the Thunder will enter the playoffs as the top seed in the Western Conference. While they are still a relatively inexperienced team when it comes to the postseason, they have the talent it takes to win it all. What is next for Shai? Shai has a chance to join an elite shortlist of players who win MVP and Finals MVP in the same season. Along with this, he has the scoring title in the bag. This could go on to be a career-defining year for him and the start of a reign over the league. The NBA has desperately been looking for its next face of the league, and if Shai is able to continue to play at this level, he could be the face of the NBA's next elite dynasty. The scariest part about this for the rest of the league is that he's still only 26 years old, and we still have not truly seen him hit his prime. The sky is the limit for Gilgeous Alexander, and in turn, the Thunder as well.